Hi, and welcome to this video where I'm going to describe to you how to register for the Zoom simulation and how to find out what team you're in and who is in your group. So the first thing you should realize is that on the announcements, there's the Zoom finance simulation description of this assignment that you should read entirely. And this is the website, www.zoomsim.net, and the class code. When they ask you for a class code, it's fall 2021. That's the code for our class that you want to select. Now, I'm going to go over how to register for Zoom in a second. But keep in mind that this is a 40% assignment. So it's a big assignment. And it's broken up into two parts. Part 1 is the play solo practice. So for part 1, it's 50% of this grade, or 20 points. And you have to complete 6 rounds or years of the simulation by yourself against computer players and earn a cumulative points above 1,500 points by September 15th. Then part 2 of the assignment begins, and this is a team competition assignment where you'll be placed into teams of 4 to 5 people, and then your team must work together to complete all 6 rounds with a cumulative score above 2,200 points. If you don't get above 2,200 points, then you're only going to get 10 of the 20 points for part 2. And the same thing for the solo practice. If you don't score above 1,500 points, you're only going to get 10 of the 20 points. Now, the good thing about the solo practice is you can do it multiple times. So if you don't pass with over 1,500 points in the first attempt, you can reset and try it again. Now, you can only do the team competition once. And we're going to be working together on an online environment. All the teams in the class are competing head-to-head to each other, sort of like a Fortnite online competition where we're going to be a live competition against each other, all the teams in the class. So you're going to be competing against live Stony Brook students. And now you're automatically going to be placed in a team of 5 students. And I'm going to be placing you on these teams. And these teams will be locked in on the 13th. So I have to give some time for add drop first before I set the teams up. And then on the 13th, when you click on the groups menu button on Blackboard, you'll be able to see the team you're in and the team members in your team. Now, the first round is due September 19th. And then September 26th, October 3rd, 24th, October 31st, and the final round will be due on November 7th. So we're working in lockstep, so you'll finish your week 1, your Y-1 round, and you'll have to wait until I process it sometime after the 19th, and then you start the year 2. So it's a slower process because we're doing it in tandem with everybody in the class. Okay. Now, when to discover what team you're on and who's on your team, you're going to, I'm going to come back up here to the class, and there's a button called Groups. I actually just relabeled it to call it Zoom Groups. So this is, you click on this button and it'll take you right into your team, and it'll display your team name and also your team members and give you a link to share files and a link to send emails. And that's not set up right now, but that will be set up before September 13th once we get past add drop. So all you really need to do at this point in the beginning of the class is to register for the simulation. So I'm going to go to the website. So this is zoomsim.net. And as a new student, I'm going to go to register. So I'm going to click on register. And then you're going to click on student. And you're going to put in your first name, last name, email address, create a username with a password. You have to enter that twice. Click on Not a Robot and then click register. And that will bring you to step 2. This is the payment step. Now, we do not have an activation code, so you have to, this is not part of the textbook. There's no activation codes. So for the payment, they'll have, I believe it's credit card that you'll pay with to do the payment. And I believe the payment is $39.99. And then once you do the payment, you'll be pushed into the class selection and then the team selection. So let me show you how that works. So after you fill out this information, make sure you use a username and password you can easily remember or write that down. And if you do forget that username or password or have any problems signing up to the simulation, if you look at the bottom menu here, let me pull this down. you look at the bottom menu, there's support that you can email them if you have a problem with your payment or registering. Email them, because I don't control the website, so I can't help you if there's some sort of error when you're trying to sign up. Also, there is, if you forget your login, you can click here, and the student manual is here. Now, another important thing is when you're doing this registration process, I've noticed that mistakes tend to happen more frequently if you click the back button on the simulation. So if you, up here, if you're clicking the back button or the refresh button, this usually leads to problems. So just give the website time to refresh after you hit register and bring you to the next screen before you don't be impatient. It may take a few seconds between screens. That's usually what can mess things up, I've seen. But anyway, let me show you what the class selection process is like. Once you've logged in, after you've completed the payment, you'll have these two choices: play solo practice. This you can click on now and start playing the solo practice. I also have a link to a video that goes over how you complete the first round of the simulation, a step-by-step tutorial that I recorded to help you complete round one. I'd also suggest that you read the student user manual, which can help you better understand the simulation as well before you start the solo practice. Now, when you're ready to join your team, so in here when we already discussed on the Blackboard, to get your team assignment, you want to click on Zoom Teams, and then when you go back to the simulation, you can click on, first select your professor, so you want to go down the list and then find me. I'm in here somewhere. Okay, you find me, and then you find the class selection. And it goes, to make it as easy as possible, I kept it as fall 2021. That's our semester. I have other semesters here. Don't choose the older semesters. Choose the most current semester that you're in. You click on that, submit, and then now you can play team competition because you've selected my class and you've selected the class code. So when you click on team competition, you'll see that they'll list companies here. So say you're in company 8. So scroll down the list. They're not generally in numeric order. I think they're in order of the first digit, not the first and second digit. So if I scroll down to, I see team 8, team 9, team 7, 6 are down here, as well as, so you see how the 5s are grouped together, the 4s are grouped together. So search for your team and you just click on your team assignment that you found on Blackboard. And then once you're in that, click on play team competition again, you'll see you're in your team. You will select a role. It doesn't matter what role you select. You're all equals in this team. You're all going to make responsible for all the decisions. So you're going to click on one of these roles and then submit your company data, and then you could start working on the team simulation. Again, when you log in for the first time, so we're going to log in here. So when you log in, right now in the beginning of class, you're only responsible for doing the play solo practice. This is the only thing you have to worry about for the first 2 to 3 weeks of the class. Later on, when the add drop period is ended, we're going to start the play team competition. So once I've set the groups up, and I'll send you an email once the groups are set up on Blackboard, you will discover your group number, and then you will register and sign into your group number on the Blackboard. It's not set up yet, so don't get worried about that. All you should worry about right now is completing part 1 to play the solo practice, and you want to get this done before September 15th, because the team practice rounds are going to start the first round is due on September 19th. Okay, so I hope you found this useful for understanding how to register and get started and find your group in the simulation. Thank you. Goodbye.